Welcome to the Business Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, James.
And I'm Jasmine, and this is a podcast where we delve behind the scenes of business marketing success and we speak to the business owners that are shaking up their industries.
Today we've got Sam Newell from Build Interiors. Sam started Build Interiors in February 2023, and since then he's been leveraging marketing to grow his business. Welcome to the podcast, Sam. Good to have you on, mate.
No, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
To start off with, could you tell our listeners a bit about your business? Like, how did you get started, basically? Where did the idea come from? What got you going?
Yeah, so I suppose I've been in the construction industry for the last 7 years. I was at previous companies and just sort of got sick of the way things were being done. And I just saw that there was a new generation coming through and being the business owners and being like the people making the decisions, the higher ups and things. And I thought, well, the way traditionally things are being done it doesn't relate with me. So I assume it doesn't relate with them. Maybe I can do it a bit different. And then I had the idea of going out on my own and starting Build Interiors. So February 2023, like James said, Build Interiors was born. And the idea pretty much was we were going to do we are what we say are, right? Like we do construction and interiors, but we do it differently. I want it to be more transparent, more clear, make it about a feeling, create a brand, not just a company, and be like a new wave and a new surge in the construction industry. And I like to think that's what we're doing and shaking it up and showing people that things can be done differently.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
I mean, traditionally, you don't see construction and building companies doing what you guys are doing. I mean, you're pretty much everywhere in the market.
Yeah, you're right. We host events, we have billboards, we're big on our socials reach and things like that. And because, as I said, we're in a newer generation where the consumers are not only... You hear a company's name, you don't Google them first. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to search them on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's how we decided we wanted to connect with our users, as well as the work that we do in itself. We take a lot of pride in our work. We're not all about just making money and clipping the ticket. We provide a value engineering solution to all quotes. So then we provide to maximize the dollar value for the client and to be able to deliver a better product. We're the experts at what we do, right? The designers are the best at what they do, and the client's the best at whatever their product is that they're selling. So if we can focus at being the greatest in our field and leverage off that, we should be able to give good quality and good service.
Awesome. And when you started Build Interiors, was it hard? What was your first job?
It was hard. I just had my son. So my son was 4 months old. Quit my job, and I had one job, and that was Storm on Ponsonby Road. It was I'd promised to deliver that in a 14-day turnaround, to opening, and it was just me in my truck, and it was tough, I'd had this brand, I'd gone out, and I originally got our logo done for $500, the original Build logo, and then the website, and it was just did this post on LinkedIn, I was like, we're just going to do it. I'm going. And so it was definitely challenging, but it was also the rush, because it's sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
It's either you're going to make it or you won't.
Yeah. And with your first job, what was the value from that? Did you make profit from it? How did it go?
Yeah, we made money on it. We still not a huge amount, but it was a lot of learning, right? Running the job myself, being on site myself, because I had no other staff, and then all our contractors below and the builders and things like that assisting. There were lots of learnings, smaller things that when you're in a big company and you've got lots of people around you rely on others for, having to do all that yourself. There was long days, it was hard, but I'm very fortunate. Deb from Storm is an amazing client of mine who has actually stuck with me for the last 5 years. I've done all the projects. So
that's great. Yeah.
I knew the job in and out, and she gave me my first opportunity, which was awesome.
And was that the first, obviously having that first project, it's the I guess your first kind of success, where you're kicking off. That's your first post on social media, and from there, did you kind of see a snowball effect of people wanting to come work with you, for you? How did your social media kind of start from there, and what was the the benefits from?
I suppose that was our first post on socials, and then there was a bit of controversy about me going out on my own, and people just we're in a small industry, New Zealand's a village, right? And people will have their opinions, and we do things a bit differently. Our branding, the colour, the feel. That post went well, and then after that we were called in to do another job on Ponsonby Road. Actually, there was another company that was doing it And they were halfway through and they hadn't finished the project, and we were called in to see if we could assist by the client for this store. And I was like, I had no staff, nothing. I was like, yeah, man, I got a team, we can do it. It's Friday, I had to deliver it on Monday, and this guy's like, you come recommended it? Of course you can. I was like calling up guys I went to school with, like, hey, can you like come work? I'm like paying people cash at the door.
That hammer?
Yeah, I was like, you still got this? I'm like paying them cash at the door to come in, do some painting, do this. Anyway, we delivered, took the project over these guys, smashed it out of the park, and then I was like, well, I want to be the first company with a billboard. So then I put up a billboard and it said, let us do it so we don't have to fix it. And then that from social, that's what went viral, and it was sort of just like a snowball from there.
That's yeah. I remember I've seen a few of your billboards. There's been some really funny ones. But with like that, like what made you choose a billboard? Like out of every part of advertising, like a billboard's pretty extreme. Like where did that idea come from?
I just think for the billboard idea, so like again, like we had no one, right? Like so for the first year of the business, I was coming up with marketing ideas, and then we'd lean on an agency for support because, like, again, I'm not a designer, but I can deliver. So I had these ideas, and they'd execute. But I thought a billboard from being young, I just remembered like looking up and being like, "That's huge, right? Like these are massive, and they're a statement piece." And then with our generation, it was like, how do I capitalize off the billboard itself? Because the billboard does one thing, right? But then the socials I can mass reach, and not only. We serve clients that are UK brands, Australia. We do about 30% of our business for Australian companies. Like, this is a way I can reach the masses. But also, it was a big enough statement piece to show that we weren't just. I wasn't just creating a company to be a mum and dad handyman. This is a business. Yeah. I think, it was. It just felt like it was on brand, right? Yeah, the biggest thing with Build was like I wanted to create this company. Let's take a wallet for example, right? I can buy a wallet at Kmart. I can buy a wallet at Louis Vuitton. The Louis Vuitton wallet makes me feel a certain way. The Kmart wallet makes me feel a certain way. Both equally do the same job. Why can I not create a construction company that makes you feel a certain way when you work with us, that you want to be with us? And I thought the billboard was the biggest way to activate that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it definitely shook. I mean, I've never seen any other, like, construction company really putting something out there. And also, you went in quite edgy.
Yeah.
You went in with, like, your personality, your brand. And actually it resonates for everyone. I think that's a key thing about like marketing and speaking to your audience is actually having a bit of personality, because things can be real PC sometimes. And it's like, people don't want to hear it. People just want to see what's real and, you know, work with people who are actually real as well.
Exactly, right? Like I feel like, and that's probably like one of the keys with our marketing. Like you know me and we've spent a lot of time together. Like it is my true personality, I feel like that's what comes across well. Like it's authentic, right? We've done, and the Billboard campaign thing has just become like a part of our identity now. Like we actually had a new one drop on Monday that'll get announced, and like then we went from that one to nationwide. And like you said, we're edgy, we're different, we're not PC. We push the boundaries. We tether on that line of like, you know, the one after that, the last one was want a happy ending, build interiors. Like it's like we definitely. Yeah. But equally, right, we're not everyone's shop fitter or everyone's construction company. Yeah. But for those that want someone that's a bit different, a bit funny, a bit of personality, we are those people for you. And, you know, finding staff that align with the brand and help push that marketing envelope to be able to create that image has been part of the journey as well.
Yeah. And do you find that, like, people, when they come to you, that's the first thing they sort of notice or bring up? It's like, hey, we saw you. Hey, we saw your post. Hey, because... like I say, you guys are kind of everywhere. You're on a lot of socials, and you know a lot of the stuff you do. You know, you say you do like yoga. I think it's yoga and fitness, and you do runs, and you do all this other stuff, which is actually so out of the ordinary for like, you know, you're a brand. You're not just a company who builds. Yeah. You know.
For sure, like it's quite funny. Like we're like I get stopped sometimes. People are like, "Oh, it's Mr. Build." I'm like, I'm Sam. But the brand has like sort of grown into like a feeling, and people are identifying with it. Like you said, like we internally have our own like run club, like where everyone in the company is running the half marathon together. We work out together. We do activations. We do a mid-year wellness event, which was an idea we had in the first year I wanted to do. Everyone does big boozy events for midwinter Christmases, and I was like, how can we connect with our audience and connect with our clients in a way that's not has to be associated with alcohol. Like we can just spend time with them. So we did this mid-year wellness event, so like a recharge, and then we've gone bigger again this year, and next year we've got some crazy plans for that too. But yeah, I suppose it's just creating something. Like I look at it and I wanted to create a brand and a community. I wanted to, a lot of our clients are repeat customers because that's the way the world works, right? And we just wanted them to feel part of this and constantly be involved and constantly see what we're doing, and the public as well to be like, damn, I want to work for that guy. That's what we wanted to create.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Also, another thing is going off your billboards, we also noticed that you have ads within the E and Z magazine. How did that come about? Like, who did you have to contact? How much did it cost? Like, what was the idea around that?
The magazine ads?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was crazy. The Air New Zealand ad was in the magazine, and that was actually through a marketing agency that Concoction that assisted us with creating the billboards. They were like, hey, we're doing a feature, and we just want to feature your guys' stuff.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate to get into Air New Zealand magazine, and then Interior Awards, they wanted to feature us as well. We were the host of the after party and in their magazine. And it's just sort of snowballed. These opportunities have come up, and with the cost of magazine and print, for anyone looking at doing it, I think it's definitely there is a value add. You need to make sure that the magazine that you're going to get is going to target who you want. There's a lot of companies out there, and I think we were fortunate to align with people that aligned with our brand, and there was like there's still a few other people in print that one day we hopefully will pick us up and want to see us. And the other one that we ended up in was for the charity work that we did. We did a fit out for a company alongside Wonder Group called Toya Ora, based in Grey Lynn, and they're a charity that support people with mental health challenges and things, and we did the fit out for them. And then the irony is actually when I took the job on, we'd price it completely, and I was like,
I remember this. I remember this story. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, and I took the job on, and I was like, all right, we'll do this job. And then I came to the site visit, and I was like, oh my God, this is a charity. I've just priced a job for a charity and I'm charging them. I was like, I can't do this. This is wrong. So we documented doing the fit out. And then the final day of the project, we had the directors in there, and they were, this was a big expense for them because they're self-funded, right? And we were like, hey, this is actually free. Like, we're just going to give this away, and this is for you. Like, here's your money back. And that we went out, and that got picked up a bit by press, and then that went into the news and stuff. Like, it was pretty rad. Like, and again, it comes back though, like, that was an authentic thing done.
Yeah.
But great leverage for marketing, right? You've got to see, through all our print and other things that we do, we look at it through another lens. Like, how would I feel if I looked at that and picked up my phone, I
think that's the thing, is like, it's got to come from an authentic place, and then it's leveraging it from that, right? You do the good deed, and then what comes after is just sharing your success or sharing how it made other people feel. And I think that's just, going back to the brand, it's like you want to make people feel a certain way. And like I say, it may not be for everyone. There's a lot of kind of old dogs in construction who may see it as like, that's not our cup of tea. And there's, maybe people who really resonate with that. And I think what you're building is, you're building a brand. You're not just building a company. And I think using, marketing to get it out there, if it's social, if it's on billboards or whatever it may be, I mean, it's clearly doing its job. And going into when you first thought about Build Interiors, did you have a marketing plan before? Did marketing just all of a sudden appear? Did you have some advice from people? Like, where did the actual the branding and Build Interiors kind of spark from? I suppose I always wanted to. I had the idea of how I wanted to create the feel. I was sort of watching socials and knowing that, like, and consciously aware of this is how people are connecting these days, right? Like, we're in that generation. I did lean on the agency that was helping us with the billboards and sort of just spitball off them, like, hey, what do you think of this? Originally, I was self doing the posts. I just created a plan, and I wrote out like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I was like, on Mondays we're gonna do a static post. Tuesdays we'll do a carousel. Wednesdays will be so on and so forth. Anyway, and I just stuck to this routine. And I was making sure I was posting at least 3 times a week, keeping things going active on the reels and on the stories. And then I was just YouTubing. I was like, how does this algorithm work? I think
great way to start. Definitely a lot of work. Good to use an agency and move to that level where you're shifting. But I think the marketing plan was always there in my head, but it wasn't such a strategy of how we were going to integrate into the market through this platform. Then later, now we do plans, like an annual plan, right? Like we look at, okay, so these, we're going to do 5 billboards this year. We're going to do 2 event activations. We're going to do 3 company activations. Social strategy, I review the socials post every Monday that's going out. But it's evolved, right? I think it's all for relative to scale to the size of your business. But I think there's a lot of businesses that don't have any plan.
Or any presence.
Nothing. And like you said, like, I think, do a good deed, do an awesome project. I think the previous way in New Zealand was like, be quiet, be humble, and, good things will come. Flag that, mate. Everyone's singing from the mountains. If I don't blow my own trumpet, who will, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to run around screaming, waving the build flag other than myself and the team, right? The good work, other people will refer you, but you need to put yourself out there. Like, that's where we're at right now. People are fighting for Google Ads. Google Ads is a win of, like, who's got the biggest dollar for your buck. You want to be different. You want to be edgy. You want to compete in different pools. You want to mix it up. Different things work for different brands. Prime example, we get asked a lot why we're not on TikTok, and it just doesn't align with the brand completely, and that's where it's at. But for other companies, right, that platform could be amazing. They could showcase things and things like that. So, yeah, I suppose strategy to start wasn't there, but it's evolved, and now we're clear with that path as to where we want to go.
Yeah. With your marketing plan that you implemented, did you see much organic growth for your company at the start?
100%. So we did no paid ads for the first year. So everything was all organic. Like, we just did the post and the strategy and, like, discussing internally what things we were going to showcase. The Design Diaries series was a great thing. It from Two Prong One.
What was the design?
That's like the video series where we interview designers and talk to designers
Cool.
in all around the country and just talk about what they're doing. The biggest reason we did that is, one, people were getting confused if we were a design or a construction company, and I was like, I am a construction company. That is a designer. We will showcase the amazing designers that we work with. And then also it was just make people feel personal, right? Like, people want to see your face. People want to. So the whole concept with the brand was always to, like, put a face to the brand and sort of push me and push the team and be like, we're real people. And through that, our growth at the moment, in the first year, the biggest we had was 85,000 people on socials in 30 days on Instagram. Right now, it sort of averages between 80,000 to the max it's ever been was 120,000 people on our Instagram account in 30 days. LinkedIn reach is like 45,000 and Facebook's like 50K.
Yeah.
It's like, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
We're a construction company out of New Zealand, so
Yeah.
it's mad.
Yeah, and like you say, it's like a village. I mean, everyone knows about you guys now.
Yeah.
Does it feel surreal for you? Like, what do you think your younger self would say?
I like to think I'm still quite young. But no, I think, like, to come from someone who was, like, kicked out of 7 schools, uni dropout, and, like, labouring 7 years ago, to be where we are now is insane, right? I'm just so grateful for the team that I have working with me, the amazing subcontractors that we have, like my awesome parents who've supported me throughout, and, like, just a great circle that I have around me that have always backed me and built me up. I think anything's possible, right? Like, I am a construction worker that somehow found a knack for marketing, which makes no sense. But, the tools that we have and the skills that we have are always transferable, and I think, like, your will and your determination and what you want to push for will always drive that. But my younger self, I definitely think I'd be shocked. I'm pleasantly surprised at where we've ended up.
Yeah. Well,
That's good.
It's well deserved. Like, you have built such an incredible company, and the marketing you've leveraged for it has really skyrocketed you guys forward. You're completely edgy, and everyone notices you.
No,
So yeah,
appreciate
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Going back to, I just had a thought about, the campaigns that you've been kind of, working on, before you, I guess, when you kind of brainstorm them, do you brainstorm them with your agency? Do they brainstorm them to you? And then when you go to release them, how long do you run campaigns for?
Georgia will end me for this, who helps with our socials. The actual like secret to it is all our ideas. I actually wear my AirPods in the shower and I dictate.
AirPods in the shower.
I dictate in the shower, and that's where I come up with the best marketing and founders' thoughts. So I'll always have my AirPods in, and I'll be like in the shower, and I just realize I always get these ideas, and then so I'll be like dictating. I'll be like, think about a campaign. Can we somehow integrate a running event with everyone, and then like share, and then I just have a bunch of ideas, and then what we've kind of got to is that I have lots of ideas, and then I collect my ideas, and I'm like, winner. I'm like, that was a terrible one. And then I'll lean to the agency, be like, hey, this is what my scatty brain's kind of come up with.
This is what the shower's just taught me. Yeah.
This is what I've thought. What do you reckon? And they're great. Like, yes, no. I think for anyone doing any marketing for any business, even if you're going to keep it internally, even if you're not going to pay an agency to do your marketing, you should leverage and partner with one to be able to spitball off, to have them as a resource. Game changer, right? They're experts in their field, equally to me being an expert in construction,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
You go to build a deck at your house and you've never done a deck before, you're going to call your mate that's a builder. If I'm going to do some marketing, I should probably call someone that knows marketing. So, we look at the campaigns, we come up with the idea, and then from there, it's about execution. I think the biggest issue, every idea is a great idea, but people don't understand the dollar value that needs to be associated with marketing, right? Like, you need to commit. You need to...
Definitely. I think anything you're going to do, it's got to be, you can't just turn on the lights and then all of a sudden you're off for 3 months because people will think, where they gone?
Yeah, 100%.
They were humming along and all of a sudden they're gone. I think that's a big, and it's good that you recognize that as well, because even in our day-to-days, like, it's about having that awareness, and I think being in front of people not just once or twice but all the time. Any brand you see, the reason you buy it is because like you used the example earlier, Kmart, Louis Vuitton. I mean, bit of a price difference in the both, but let's say if we went back a little bit, you're going to use one that you've seen more so
100%,
because you trust the brand. It builds credibility, and I think that's where your clients probably see the most value as well.
100%. But like, it's like anything, right? Like, it's the consistency is what's going to get you through, right? Like, you can't just do a couple posts and then drop off. If you think about influencers, for a prime example, the only reason that they have a power of influence, right, is that we see them so often. People are like, oh, they're doing it again, but they're doing it consistently. They're in your feed. They're there. They're around. Any brand, like I look at some of like the people that I like idolize, and I sort of look at as like, like the pinnacle of like their careers and things. And like, they're actually not all construction people. Like, there are some amazing construction company owners and developers from New Zealand that I look at and I'm like, man, like, you guys do some amazing stuff, and I would love to do what they do. But then also like Stephen Bartlett, who Diary of a CEO, he's amazing,
genius,
Absolute
absolute genius,
game changer. His marketing. George Heaton and Michael Heaton from Represent Clothing. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, they're screen printing on t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
Really, if we like, they're great quality, they're so on and so forth.
The designs,
and they're good designs, but they're printing on a t-shirt. But somehow they've built a cult following from two guys out of the UK as well, and it doesn't make sense. But it's their marketing, the way they make the brand makes you feel. You're like, I just got a singlet from them. I'm wearing the hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
You're sharing the post. You're liking it. Yeah.
I'm liking it all.
Yeah.
It's the feeling and it's the association, right? Of the investment into their marketing. And you look at what these people do and strategize and how they plan. That's how you be a good business to a great business, right?
Yeah.
What would you say, from your, going back to the shower, what would you say your most successful campaign was? If you could change one campaign, what would you say one that maybe didn't do so well?
My most successful campaign?
It could be in terms of the one you're proud of the most, or even, one that kind of, I guess brought you in.
I think the original Billboard was probably the greatest, and then the most boom like came into the market, and then I think the design diaries, being able to use that and like speak to people, talk to people, execute that was a great way to separate us from the designers. And if I'm going to go one more, originally when we started, I was doing these talk videos and we were paying a videographer, and I was just talking into the camera and I was just saying, I'm Sam, this is Builder Terrors. I'm going to talk to you about this, which was a portion of what the business was, like value engineering. I broke it down, explained it to people, and then people were like, oh, crazy. Like, that's a really cool like thing that they offer. But having a face, being present, connecting with people, I think if I could do any different, like you said, we did a Billboard campaign, and we didn't use professional photography when we announced it. We did later on, but we announced it, and it was just with iPhone photography. Nothing wrong with iPhone video level if that's what you're doing, but it just didn't. People just didn't connect with it the same way they did in everything else, and that's where I come back to invest in it. Don't be shy to pay that little bit more, like, because it's going to come back.
It will pay dividends in the future.
100%.
Well, Sam, look, some really great advice. Look, we could probably go for hours talking, and actually learned so much. It's actually really interesting, like your brand, how it's evolved, and the brand's been built because you believe in how you make people feel. I think that's my key takeaway from it. You want people to feel a certain way, and that's why they work with you. And I think leveraging what you've done has just been a game changer. And I think if anyone can take anything away from it, is to consider where you're kind of growing your brand and where you're kind of who you're kind of talking to, what audience you're trying to connect with. So look, thank you for coming on to our podcast today. It's been great.
Yeah, I think from my end, I think it's amazing that when you started a business, you focused on the branding, the feeling. Yes, there's obviously the pain points you have that you want to solve. You want to make interior design simple for other people, but you really honed in on your brand. And some businesses lose that aspect when they start a business. When they start a business, it's like, okay, we have a name, we have a website, now we want the sales. But you kind of were like, okay, cool. Yes, I want the sales, but I want the brand and I want the feeling. And I think that just helped a lot, and I find it really interesting. Thank you so much for coming on and, delving into it and letting us know all the details. I definitely love the campaign creation strategy of the shower. Definitely have to try it. And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll catch you next time on the
podcast.
Business Marketing Podcast. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers.